Hello everybody, it's Andrew Hutchings with you here today, and I'm not a doctor, not a medical doctor, not a PhD doctor. I don't really want to be either, because I don't want to spend my whole life in school studying things. It may sound very intelligent, but what it really means is you're just looking at something all day long. Doesn't mean you can do anything necessarily, but I'll get past that. So yeah, I don't have any legitimate medical advice to give you, but when it comes to steroids, people don't use their brain or something. I don't know what it is, but they don't think about things logically, or maybe they just don't know how the human body works. But if you have steroids in your system, they shut down your balls, your testicles. They don't work, or they don't work very much. So even if you only have a micro little bit of steroids in your system, that's not going to help you at all. It still is going to shut down your body. So what can happen is, say you inject testosterone and you're taking it for a while, and then you stop taking it. So here's your normal level, and here's where you were when you were on the testosterone. So you stop taking it, and it's slowly over the course of weeks getting out of your system. And eventually it gets down to the same level as your normal level. But then it's lower than your normal level for weeks. And during this time period where it's lower than your normal level but still in your body, your normal testosterone isn't there. So now you have low testosterone levels because your body still senses this external testosterone and doesn't want to make its own. The body does, when it gets below the normal level, it does start to sense it, but the problem is it's still going to suppress the testicles and they're not going to work. So basically, you could stop your steroids or whatever the situation is, but an easy one would be if you were using steroids and then you stop taking them, and they get to a level that's lower than your normal testosterone. So you're actually going to be worse off than if you weren't on them at all. And the problem is you can't just start post-psychotherapy right then and there, because you still have it in your body, telling your body not to make testosterone, even though it's lower than your normal level. So, if it were me, what I would do, and I haven't done this, but if I do steroids someday, what I would do is, for example, with the testosterone, using like your testosterone enanthate or whatever, and it's in your body, you're doing it for, let's just say you do it for 8 weeks. And it's going to be built, so your first shot, it's going to be here, then your second shot's going to be on top of your first one. It's going to keep building up for a few weeks. I don't know exactly how long. But it's because even though it only lasts a week, it's not that it only lasts a week. You inject Monday, and by here's 0. Next Monday, it's down to here. But then you inject again, and you're adding on top of this, so it's going to go even higher than that first one. And that keeps happening for a while until you get to it's going to level out at a certain point. So then past that, you stay at that point for a little while, but then after that, when you want to start to stop things, well, before you start to stop things, so you have to let that long-acting stuff get out of your system. And it's going to take a while because you've built it up to really high levels, and it's got to slowly but surely get down over the course of weeks. So the smart thing to do would be to switch to a shorter acting substance while that testosterone is lowering. So for a while, it's like, why would you take anything? Just let it get down lower. It's still going to be really high. But then say maybe after 2 weeks of letting it get lower, you could start using maybe testosterone propionate, or you could start using dianabol, or you could start using anavar. So basically, as the testosterone is getting lower and lower, you keep your overall, how much androgens and anabolic agents you're getting, you keep it up here even though the amount of testosterone is going down, because as the testosterone goes down, you supplement with more and more of something else. So say you use dianabol. Maybe you take 5 milligrams at first and the testosterone is decreasing some more, so then you take 10 milligrams, the testosterone is decreasing some more, so then you take 20 milligrams. But then you'd have another problem because dianabol gets converted to estrogen. Estrogen tends to stick around the body a little while. But yeah, you want to be doing something so that your overall levels stay up here, but the long-acting stuff is going down. I hope you understand that. So as the testosterone goes down lower and lower, you supplement with more and more of something else that only lasts like a day. But then, like I said, the anabol gets converted into strong estrogens. And they stick around the body for a while. So what I would do is I would cut out all the aromatizable stuff a couple weeks or a few weeks out from the end. So perhaps I wouldn't use dianabol. Perhaps I would use oxandrolone, anavar. So after 8 weeks of testosterone and it's up here, as you let the testosterone lower, you increase your anavar dosage so that you're keeping up here. Because between here and here is your anavar. But your testosterone's down here, and then once the testosterone gets down to zero, what's called this zero, perfect level, then you can cut out your anavar and get everything in your body down to zero. Now, I would still taper it because the body doesn't like to do anything too rapid, but I would taper off the anavar over the course of like a week maybe. So you have zero testosterone and you're getting the anavar down to close to zero. And the good thing is, during that time when you're only taking the anavar and the testosterone's down at zero, so even after the testosterone's at zero, you want to keep the anavar for longer. That way the estrogen is also clearing down to zero. Because when you fully stop, you want to have no excess anabolic steroids in your system to suppress you. But you also don't want high levels of estrogen, because estrogen can also suppress you. But also on top of that, if you don't have androgens, but you have estrogen, your body is going to be out of whack. You need the right balance of the two, or else you get problems like gynecomastia and other things. Cancers too. So yeah, let the long-acting stuff wear off, and while it's wearing off, if you want to keep doing stuff, use a short-acting thing, and then let the estrogen clear your body too. Because when you fully stop, you want very low estrogen and no external androgens. And that way you can start your post-cycle therapy, and you won't have stuff counteracting it. Because like I said, if you have estrogen, it tells your body not to make testosterone. And if you have external stuff, it tells your body not to make testosterone too. So you want nothing opposing your recovery. But say you did not use oxandrolone, you could also get that estrogen down by, remember how I said you supplement the dianabol as the testosterone's going down? In the last couple weeks, you could add in an aromatase inhibitor to help get your estrogen down. Just no matter what you do, you want to be ending with low estrogen. That way you don't get the negative feedback. And then you could go on to take your Serms or aromatase inhibitors. Personally, I think it makes more sense to take aromatase inhibitors because Serms are stronger. Actually, I think I made a video or something about this. Yeah, Serms are stronger, but your overall estrogen is going to be increasing. So I would try to go with an aromatase inhibitor, and if you need it, add a Serm into there. Because you don't want your overall estrogen going high, and Serms make them both, because it makes your body unable to see that it has this estrogen, so it makes more estrogen. Whereas the aromatase inhibitor, you're making more testosterone, and your body thinks it's going to turn into estrogen, but it doesn't, so the estrogen stays low while testosterone goes up. So then even after you stop the aromatase inhibitor, your body still wants to keep things high and get more estrogen because the estrogen was low. Whereas after you stop a Serm, your body's going to go, whoa, what's all this estrogen? I didn't see that yesterday. And it's going to ramp things down. And on top of all this, you could try to toss in HCG towards the end of your cycle or during the whole thing to keep things up and running. And I have a feeling I made a video on something just like this. But it doesn't hurt to have another one that's slightly different. Maybe I said something extra in this one or something extra in the other, I don't know. So yeah, the HCG will send the signal to your balls to keep them up and running and make it easier for them to bounce back once you have zero external anabolic steroids in your body. So when you end your steroid cycle, you want to have low estrogen and no steroids in your body. And if you injected testosterone like a week or 2 ago, or 3, or 4, you still have steroids in your body. Anything else I should say? So yes, I do not take steroids. I have not done this myself. That does not mean that it's not a good way to go. You know, my underwear back here. It doesn't mean that it wouldn't work. So don't come at me saying, oh, well, you haven't done it yourself. The big old bodybuilders, they don't do it like you said, and they're all good. Well, my way is better. Believe me if you want to. It's only going to benefit you. Don't believe me if you don't want to, and you won't benefit from it. Someday I'll probably be a doctor, and I will be able to do this in practice with my patients. And my patients will be the best patients because they will have the best doctor. They will be very glad they come to me versus the other stupid doctors. So please like and subscribe. Anything else I should tell you? Nope, just once again, when you end your stuff, make sure you have 0 steroids in your body and low estrogen. Then start your post-cycle therapy.